Alright, let's work with reflections. So, what a reflection is, you can think of in like when you're looking in the mirror or something, you're seeing your reflection, and what you notice is that the image is flipped. So you're flipping your image when you do a reflection. So let's say we have a point here at, I don't know, 4, 2, and we want to reflect it across the y-axis. So we have our y-axis right here, and we are 1, 2, 3, 4 away from that y-axis. So we got to be the same distance. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is going to be my A prime. So my reflection across the y-axis for 4, 2 would then become negative 4, 2. Change colors here. If I wanted to reflect across the x-axis, so again I started with my original 4, 2, and here I'm 1, 2 away from the x-axis, so I'm going to go 2 down, and so that one became 4, negative 2. So what you'll notice when you reflect across an axis, if you reflect across the y, your x becomes its opposite. When you reflect across the x, your y becomes its opposite. So you got to think it becomes the opposite, but it's also the opposite letter. So y, the x changes, x, the y changes. Alright, so now I have another triangle here. And we're going to reflect this, but we're going to not reflect it across an axis. We're going to reflect it across the line y equals 1. So when I do these, the first thing I like to do is draw in that line, y equals 1. So it doesn't matter what our x value is, no matter what, our y is y equals 1. So that yellow line is our point of reflection, or our line of reflection. So for each of these, we're going to go the same distance. So C is 1 away from that line, so I'm going to go 1 down. B is 3 away, so I'm going to go 3 down. And A is 3 away, so I'm going to go 3 down. So you notice here, when I first did a point, you couldn't really see that flip, but you can see when you do a shape, that is now flipped. So that's my A prime, my C prime, and my B prime. And if we had to give the coordinates, so A, which was 1, 4, and then A prime is 1, negative 2. B was 7, 4, and B prime was 7, negative 2. And then C was 3, 2, and after the reflection it was 3, 0. Alright, one more term. When we do a reflection, what has changed is the orientation. And what I mean by orientation is it's no longer facing the same way. So C was pointing down and now C is pointing up. So the orientation has changed. Alright, so now I got a object ABC and the image A prime, B prime, C prime, and I need to find the line of reflection. So what I have to do is think, where could I put a line that is halfway between these two? So I'm going to start with C here and C prime and figure out how far apart they are. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, and so it has to be equal, so I can take that 4 and divide it by 2. So I'm going to go 2 in either direction, so 1, 2, or 1, 2, doesn't matter which way, I'm going to get the same thing. And I get a line right here, and that line of reflection is x equals 1. Alright, now I'm going to reflect A. I'm going to do two things to it. I'm going to reflect it over the line x equals 1, and then reflect it again over y equals negative 1. So let's start with x equals 1. I like to draw on that line here. And I am 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away, so I'm going to go 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and put my dot. So I started at negative 4, 4, and I ended up at 6, 4. Now I'm going to reflect it again across the y equals negative 1. So I'm going to draw in that line. And I am 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away, so I'm going to go 5 down. And end up at 6, negative 6. So my final place there is at 6, negative 6. And just a little note, if you had switched those and you reflected y over negative 1 first, you would have come down here first, and then your second reflection would still have gotten you to the same place. So on this particular type of thing, it doesn't really matter which one you do first.